guys, it's Sarah, and welcome to another video, Improving Your Social Skills. Today we're going to be talking about positive behaviors and positive ways to interact with people, and also negative behaviors. And because this is the more fun one to start with, we are going to start with behaviors to avoid, because this is a long list, and I apologize prematurely if one of you feels your toes are being stepped on, but it might just be the wake-up call you need. So I put this list together based on the sort of things that I've seen in my own interactions with people, things that I've worked on myself, and taking traits that I've seen that seem to be very common in scenarios with people that are bombing socially, and they don't really have a lot of friends. They're pushing people away. These are the sort of things, behaviors that lead to that. So starting with emotionally dumping on people. Now this is a big one. Because of social media, a lot of people have become used to treating people like their diary, and they will just unload on them in a way that is it's too much for the other person to handle. And sometimes that can be really, really overbearing, and it's a lot of responsibility to put that sort of heavy stuff on someone, especially if you are only doing it just because you want the release of having someone to talk to. And there are absolutely people, I'm sure someone out there watching this will think, you know what? People do this to me all the time, and it's really not right for them to only treat you as their diary. And I think social media has gotten people used to doing that, though, with the sad status updates and things like that, things that we all experience and go through but don't feel compelled to put on our friends every single time, especially if that's your main interactions with them. So this can be a very, very draining thing in a friendship if you have someone who is treating you like this. I have had people who have treated me like this, and it's really taking advantage of someone's willingness to listen to you, someone's availability to be there for you. It's just a bad sort of habit to get into if this is what you are using your friends for. Another behavior to avoid is being an expert in something. Nobody likes a know-it-all. It is such a turnoff, thinking that, you know what, I don't really need any help. I don't need your advice. I think I've got it all. It's such a turnoff to have someone like that. And no matter what, even if let's say, okay, I'm a big fan of Frank Sinatra, and let's say that one of you tried to share a Frank Sinatra song with me that I may not have heard, and my response was, of course I've heard that. I love Frank Sinatra. Don't you think I would have heard that already? Do you see how nasty that behavior, that sort of response comes off as? Then the other person will say, oh, okay, well, I know what I'm never sharing with her again. I'm never sharing anything that I know she likes again. When you're an expert, even if it's something you like, it's such this repulsive is a strong term to use, but it is really, really an unattractive personality trait. Even if you are the smartest guy in the room, you should always kind of have an air of gratitude and willingness when people are trying to talk to you, especially trying to share something with you. I think it's really important not to come off as some know-it-all. And you might not even be aware that you're a know-it-all, but trust me, the people around you might have that perception of you, and it is a hard perception to shake off. Bringing up polarizing topics with your friends just for the sake of arguing. So, Susan, how is it going today? By the way, what do you think about genetically modified mosquitoes and releasing them upon the environment? Do you think that's okay? It's like, relax. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I've just clocked in. I don't really want to talk about this. Do you have people who are like that? Absolutely, because they get used to this debate culture, and everything has to be an argument. Every single thing has to be an opportunity for them to list off the reasons in which they're right. Don't be that person. Don't bring up polarizing topics that you know are going to cause dissension, that you know are going to cause an argument. Except if maybe you're in debate class or you're having a conversation with your friend, but it's not a good practice to use your friends as target practice to try out your different ideologies and things that you've learned and trying to catch them up so you can prove you're right. It's not very nice. Complaining, criticizing, being mopey all the time. I'm sure we've all had that experience where you reach out to a friend and you say, "How's it going? How's your week going so far?" I could be better. I don't know. Everything sucks. Oh, it's just the same. I'm just upset. Oh my. It's like Eeyore. It's so, what a downer. You can automatically take someone who's nice and who asked you how your day was and make them regret ever asking because you have nothing but just negativity to say. That's draining behavior. It's really going to push people away too, because a lot of people who are in a good mood and who are happy, they can have one experience like that. They try and do something nice and you return it with just being a downer on them. They're not going to have a good experience. They're not going to want to talk to you. So complaining is a huge thing. It's okay to vent to your friends. It's absolutely okay, and it's important to do that. But make sure that isn't the majority of your conversation or your interactions. Make sure when someone says, "Hey, how are you?" you can show them that you're happy to hear from them. You don't have to be over the top and excited and put on a face, but you can absolutely say, "Hi, yeah, thanks so much for asking how I'm doing." Even if you're not doing well, there are ways that you can phrase it. You could say, "Oh, today's an off day for me. This is what's going on, and I'm sorry if I don't want to rain on your happy day or anything like that." There are absolutely more beneficial ways you can talk about things that are going on rather than just being a downer about it. So moving on, getting too personal. Now, this is something that people do. It goes along with emotionally dumping on people, but also getting too personal about other people. You don't want to overstep what someone is comfortable with. And it's making someone uncomfortable is a very hard thing to walk back from once you've crossed that line. That feeling of being made uncomfortable can linger and persist beyond anything else. So I would highly recommend, do not get too personal. Don't overstep the questions you ask about someone's life, especially if they've given you sort of signs and cues that they don't really want to talk about it. If someone says, "Oh, are you dating anybody?" and you respond, or vice versa, if you ask someone, "Are you dating anybody?" and they respond, "It's kind of a sore subject for me. Don't really want to talk about it." Then you just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm here if you do want to talk about it in the future, but in attempts to change subjects, what do you think about the newest season of the Great British Baking Show?" There's ways to just change the conversation instead of you latching on and thinking, "Oh, what's there that they don't want to talk about? Now my curiosity is piqued." Try not to make it so self-serving, because yeah, once you cross that line with someone and you make them uncomfortable, it can kind of permanently damage the way that they think about you. And planning a script. Now, this is something, if you suffer from anxiety or you have a lot of stress thinking about talking to someone, if you have to plan out and you think, "Okay, I'm going to ask them how their day is, and then they're going to respond, and then they're going to ask me how my day is, and then I'm going to tell them that I did this, and then I'm going to," you see, you have this script already planned out in your head, which is, it's fine to have. In fact, I encourage having an idea in mind when you talk to someone about what it is you want to talk to them about, but make sure that you aren't scripting out the entire interaction, because it's not going to be as genuine as it would be if you were listening to them and engaging with them. And then you might fall into the trap of not engaging them on what they've said, because you're so determined to stick to your script that it comes off as you not paying attention to them. And this happens too with people who reach out wanting to talk about something on their own end, and so they just plan out a script to make it seem organic getting to that, but the ulterior motive there was just to talk about yourself. You can't do that with people, because it's very easy to see through that. And once someone knows that you are just talking to them just so you can talk about yourself, they're going to stop responding to you. Sending vague messages is something that I've dealt with, and it can be very frustrating because you're receiving the same sort of vague messages every single day without any intent behind it whatsoever. So I love talking to my friends, but if the same person were to message me hi every single day, just an open-ended hi, how are you? Hi, how was work today? You cannot ask someone how was work today every single day, unless exception, you are sitting down to the table having dinner and you ask your significant other or your friend, how was work today? That's a good normal setting, like the nuclear, traditional family thing, asking around the table. But in messages, in text messages, this is very, very different. You don't want to be repetitive, and you don't want to ask these vague, open-ended messages like, hi, how are you? Every single day. It gets really, really old really, really fast. And another thing too is you have some people who are always reacting, but they are never engaging. They're not carrying the conversation themselves. You talk to them, you bring up something that you think they like, and they say, that's nice. You ask them, have you seen this show yet? It looks cool. No. Are you interested in doing anything this weekend? I'm busy. Like, how are you supposed to carry a conversation with that sort of person? It's one-sided. You are just answering questions. You're not engaging them in any single way. The messages you're giving off are leave me alone. That is what that means. When you are that short with someone, it means leave me alone. And the other person will probably do that. So unless you don't want someone to get that impression of you, just try to be a little bit more engaging. Have you seen any new shows recently? Yeah, I watched this one show. I thought it was cool. How about you? Have you seen anything? You doing anything this weekend? Not yet, but I'll try and have something fun planned. How about you? Are you doing anything of significance? Try and think of it like you're playing tennis and you're serving the ball back and forth over the net. The person keeps throwing the ball in your court. Like, please help them out. Engage a little bit. Now, on the flip side of that, bombarding someone when you are bothering them too much, when you are sending them too many things that are really of no value to their life, and you just want the action of sending them something, even though there's really no intent or purpose behind it. This is also an aggravating thing for someone to do because it's not really respective of someone's time. If I'm getting Reddit memes every day, I can go on Reddit and I can look at memes to my heart's content. I really don't need to be receiving multiple messages about Reddit memes. This isn't a good way to interact with someone. And this falls into the sort of way that you view someone. I just feel compelled to send you a message, even though I don't really have anything of significance to talk to you about. Then think about something. Think about something interesting in your life or that's relevant to them, and plan it out a little bit better rather than just, oh, okay, copy paste a link. It's not very, very genuine. Setting unrealistic expectations for other people. Now, this is something that people do because it comes out of a place of entitlement. Oh, you know what? I'm expecting her to get back with me by 4 o'clock. I sent her that message at 8, and I want her to get back with me by 4 o'clock. Yes, that's a good window for her. I'm not in a position to demand that sort of response from anybody. I don't know what's going on in the other end. There have been plenty of times where I will not see a message from somebody and I won't get a response, and they'll try and follow up in a way, and I'll have to say I'm sorry. It just totally slipped through the cracks. I didn't mean to ignore you. But can you imagine if someone just thought negative things about me just because I didn't see a message in time, or I didn't reply soon enough, I didn't reply the way that they wanted me to? If someone invited me to go to a wine tasting in California and I said, no, it's not really my thing, but thanks so much for asking me, and they said, how dare she refuse this sort of invitation? That's setting an unrealistic expectation about how you expect the other person to act, and you're just going to you're just going to end up alienating people because people are individuals and they're not going to perform the way that you expect them to perform. Creating ultimatums goes along with this. Don't set tests for people that they have to perform that they're not even aware of. A lot of people will do this, and if they don't get the sort of result that they want, they'll act out about it in a bad way. It's a lot. I've seen this a lot on social media. Someone will post a very self-pitying message. Today sucks. Nobody loves me. And if no one responds to it because they're used to seeing this stuff from you, they'll up the ante. Well, maybe I should just disappear. It's those, you will end up escalating things, and it just ends up pushing people away because no one wants to feel like they have to perform a certain way because you want them to. Backwards. Failing to acknowledge people. Now, this is a big one for me because this directly corresponds to someone not being respectful of your time, which I think is on the next slide. But when you fail to acknowledge someone, you are basically giving them the signal that the time that they spent to acknowledge you is meaningless to them. So if you spend time, let's say someone sends me a message and they say that they're having a really bad day at work and they're just not feeling good, and I take the time and I send them a message back and I say, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I hope things get better. Maybe do something nice for yourself tonight, kind of relax and recover. And there's no response on their end, no thank you, no acknowledgement, and they just move on. I would feel as if why did I take the time to do that if it didn't mean anything to you? If you can't even take the time to say thank you, or that meant a lot to me, or I think I'll do that, I hope you have a nice night. Just get into the practice of acknowledging people and being polite and being responsive, because this is something that a lot of people don't even do. They don't even acknowledge when someone is kind to them, even if it's just a message, I hope you get better. Just do something to show that it meant something to you for them taking their time to spend on you. Now we've gone over negative things to do, positive ways to interact, recognizing people as individuals and not as pawns on your chessboard who are there for you to use to your own motives. Other people have their own lives, they have their own hobbies, they have other friends, they have other things going on in their life that may not at all overlap with you. And you have to recognize that other people are individuals, and you're not going to be able to get whatever sort of response you're expecting from them as quickly as you want. The conversation's not going to go the way you want. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. Everyone needs help. And the more, when you try and change the way you think about people, you know what? Someone's going to say something that I might not agree with or I might not respect, but they have the right. They're their own person. They have some sort of autonomy to do something outside of what you expect them to do. So I think once you start recognizing people as individuals with their own motives and goals and dreams and aspirations, you will have a more positive view of how you can interact with them. And when you're talking to someone, auditory and visual cues are really, really important too, to let someone know that you're paying attention to them. Even if it's just a little nod or a pensive look. Don't make it so obvious like that. I'm over-exaggerating for the purpose of the point. But when you're talking to someone, it should feel as if they have your attention. You don't want someone stopping the conversation just saying, are you still there? Okay, sorry. You weren't saying anything, so I wasn't sure. I've done that with people, and it's awkward. It's awkward because then I feel, okay, they're clearly not paying attention to me. And you don't want to make someone feel that way, especially if it's something that they're talking about, because it does make you feel bad once you get to that point of not feeling like you have this person's attention. So the little cues can help, and just help someone feel like they matter and you care about what they're saying. Finding the balance between speaking and listening is very important too, because a lot of people either fall into one category or the other. They either talk too much and they don't let the other person talk, or they don't talk at all and they let the other person do all the work. Both of these things are not good. So you want to find a balance between both of these areas. A conversation should take place between two parties. You should both be doing some of the work there. So you don't want one person to do all of the heavy lifting for you. You definitely want to make sure that you're engaging them and talking to them as much as you are listening to them. Referencing things that people have said, bringing things up that you want to follow up on, or things that they've brought up that are important to them. This is a really, really nice thing you can do if someone says they're starting a new project and you ask them how it's going. That's going to mean something to them. Like when I started out these social classes, I'd have friends ask, so how's it going? Have you got any more clients, and how do you like it so far? And that meant something to me because they remembered something that I brought up to them that I was trying to work on, and it's a nice feeling. So try and think about what you can do for your friends and the people that you talk to. Bring up things that they've said to show that you're paying attention to them and that you care about them. And being respectful of someone's time is very important, because the time that you are spending on anything is time that you're not getting back. You could spend 5 minutes on someone, writing a message or responding to them, and that's time that you're just not getting back. So just try and be respectful of people's time. Try and acknowledge that the time that they spent on you is time that they dedicated to you, which is meaningful in a way. And also, don't take up too much of their time either. You don't want to waste someone's time either. So this kind of goes both ways. And last, reach out with purpose. So this goes back to the last slide, sending vague messages. You want to reach out with some sort of intention behind what you're saying. And I don't think that you have to talk to people every single day in order to maintain a friendship. I think friendships are maintenance and there is work involved, and you do have to talk to them and keep in touch and things like that. But you don't have to talk to them every single day. So don't feel compelled, like, wait, I don't think I talked to her today. Let me quickly go find out something that she'd like and send it to her. You can do that if you really, really come across something naturally, organically, and you think your friend would like it, definitely send it to them. But don't feel like you have to start researching, doing things because, oh wait, Sarah said I have to reach out with purpose. Let me make every single interaction. What I mean reach out with purpose is reach out in a way that is going to lead to some sort of conversation or some sort of better interaction, so that you're not just, hey, how are you? It's just not vague and open-ended. Like there's something there that the other person can look into. And I think that's it. So the next video, I'm going to talk about how to make friends and improve your friendships. And this one I'm excited about because I feel like we've got some foundation work, some topics, how to talk to people, how not to talk about people, and now we can move forward to how to make friends. And I do videos every week, so make sure you subscribe, please. And if you want to schedule a session, I do private sessions as well, so you can click the link in the channel description. And if you have any specific topics that you want to see me cover, definitely let me know, and I will take a look. All right, everyone, I hope you have a good week and good luck. Bye.